Hello, my beautiful seekers, and welcome to your next pick a card. Alright, so, I don't know about you, we're gonna, a little bit of housekeeping, a little bit of like just connecting, right, because it's like, whoa, we are right in the middle of, right, that sweet spot of Saturn retrograde where like everything is kind of falling into place or falling apart at the seams, right? It's kind of like one or the other, just depending on what kind of karma that, you reaped, doesn't make any sense, that you have sown, and now you're reaping. Okay, let's put it that way, right? So Daddy Saturn is handling business. So there's a lot of upheavals for the good and for the bad. Upheavals are upheavals, right? Which means if it's something good, it might be triggering insecurities. If it's something bad, it might just be really bad, right? And you're like, why is this? Or people are being ripped away from your life, or jobs or scenarios or something like that have been just taken away, and it seems like it happened in a moment, and you're just like, wait a minute, I didn't, like, that's what these retrogrades do. And now we're going into this Mercury retrograde, and regardless of whenever you watch this video, I just want we have 3 to 4 Mercury retrogrades a year, and it's a time where yes, the electronics go down, and yes, the travel gets difficult. And why? It's because it's the universe's way of saying it's time to like sit down, like I do. I live on round time. A few people know that, and not that a few people that I really tell anybody my business like that, but I know I mention it, and it just means that I go with the cycles. Like, I don't really take a month as a month. I look at it like when we go into a certain season, that's when my month starts. And I roll with the moon cycles. And, also there's this whole, like, the seasons changing, which, so I really, like, break down what I'm doing in my personal life and my work life and see if I'm satisfied. A lot of people will do that around their birthday. I do it 4 times a year. Every quarter, and usually it's around Mercury retrograde where it's kind of like, sit your behind down, it's time to reevaluate and pivot, or continue or push on or create more momentum with whatever you're doing. That's what we're supposed to be doing in these times. Okay, so let's just go ahead and get that out. So if a lot of upheavals have happened like very quickly in the past month, basically since the portal, right, since 888, we're seeing, about a week before, like, all of this energy starts coming in, and then things change. It's kind of like eclipse season, right? Right around May. If you think about May 5th to 15th, there's probably something that was, like, really pivotal that happened in that week that, like, in the next 3 weeks after that was, like, super pivotal and turned you in a new direction. So, we don't have as many piles. I was told to stop. I was going to go for 4, but these piles are going to be a lot longer. They're going to be a lot more in depth, and the universe is just like, they need some love. Like, the last one was about like your light and your shadow, right? Well, no, the one before that, but this one is just like, what, not just what you're doing right, but like what really attracts people, to you. What? Yeah, it's just a gas up. It's like, basically, I would say watch all of the piles, and yes, it's a shameless plug for myself, but even just putting up the cards. Oh, this is the first time, too, that I have channeled messages for each pile. So I looked at the cards, and I just flipped through them. I didn't put any, like, story together, and I was just getting, like, these downloads, which is kind of crazy, because usually, I talk to the cards, and they talk to me, but this time it was just, like, all of these words were pouring off the pile once it got together. And so, yeah, so I'll be kind of, like, I don't know, I haven't done this before, so I'm just going to go ahead and maybe either read them off or use them supplementally, but I'll definitely get those messages out to you. I also want to, what else did I want to say? I felt like there was like a big transit coming. Oh, there's a Mars and Gemini transit. So if you have Gemini in your chart, you want to see where Gemini falls in your house. In your houses. If you're a Gemini ascendant, it's your first house. You count down from there. So you got to find out what your ascendant is. The only way you can find out your ascendant, I believe. No, I think you can find out your ascendant. I think it's the houses, if you don't have your exact birth time. Because the moon changes phases every 2 hours. So you got to see where you're at, and and where you are, like, longitudinally and longitudinally. I cannot access that part of my brain. All right, let's get into this. Yes, and This was donated by an Airbnb guest, kombucha. It's actually really delicious. I think I've tried it like once or twice back in the day, and I was like, how could anybody? This is pretty fantastic. But my palate has, I say acclimated, but adjusted itself, you know, in the past 10 years. So I think it was about 10 years. It was like before Sprouts, pre-Sprouts. Although I think Sprouts did it. Okay, I digress. Let's get into this. We're at 5:25. I'm going to go ahead. I've got this Capricornian, whatever. What else do I have? I have the protection charged. They're charged with citrine, as well as, yeah, the Capricorn full moon for like good work study vibes, as well as the solstice for protection as well. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and spray you, spray the ducks, and spray myself. I have to have flameless protection. Can I speak? Apparently not. All right, now we're doing it. Okay, 6 minutes in. You can just skip to the time. Oh, also, I am open, if anybody's still watching, excuse me, I am open for personal readings. I'm going to be open till the end of the year, and then I'm going to reevaluate. And I will have a price list, as well as a link down to my Etsy shop or Gmail. I have to decide if I'm going to do that or do Honeybook. So I've got to make that decision, but there will be information in the description box below. And yeah, you can hit me up for some personal readings if that's what you're interested in. So now we're at 6:30. Okay, we're just going to put 6:40. All right, let's get into this. Pile number 1. Okay, are we going to stop or we just go? Okay, we're going to stop here and then we're going to glue everything together. Hello, pile 1, and welcome to your reading. So we're going to go ahead and start with the channeled messages first, if I can read my writing, and then we'll jump into the pile and just see like how that. So these might just be like, I just wrote down what was going on, and so I'm kind of like looking at these. I was just like, okay, we're just going to go ahead and put them out. These might just be jumping off words that trigger your subconscious or are confirmation for you. So a lot of this, like, again, I know that's how it is for other readers when I watch them and they're doing the channel messages, but I just feel a little awkward because I haven't really done this before. So we are sending together, right? So yeah, and obviously this is a new little special gift that I can do now. So to quote the Moodology book, the miracles are endless. All right, pile 1. So, really looks, really great look. So you're a person that really, I feel like you might have some Libra or some Taurus in you. I'm getting like a very Venusian type of vibe here, where you just really feel like, you feel like you just don't feel put together or like balanced unless you feel that you are put together. And therefore, you just are a type of person that realize that how you feel on the outside is going to project and how you interact with others. So I just feel like you're really, I just heard claircognizant. Oh, that's really interesting. Okay, you might be the person that just really knows how to dress for a certain occasion. They're saying, or event. And people don't even know, like, you don't even know how perfectly you're dressed for the occasion until you get there. And like, and maybe you just like, you were like, maybe it's like a wedding or something like that, or like a cocktail, but it's a garden cocktail. You don't know if it's gonna be old people or young people. I'm just getting somebody that's really, like, this might be a career path for you as well, like a styling person, like where you're using, because, you know, I'm going to be getting this whole channel about like intuitive professionals, and I feel like you're just definitely one of those people that can like look at people or look at place or event or whatever and really like create a whole vision, whether it be with the wardrobe down to those. So you might want to look into like wedding event coordination or something like that. Things that where you can say, I do the flowers and I do the drapes and I do the cutlery, or I put, you know, the bridesmaids, the whole whatever together. But I'm just getting like this really like just super, I'd say somebody that's just really tapped into their feminine, but also has an eye for the masculine as well. I just say that, you know, a little more on the feminine side, not genitalia or plumbing. We're talking about energy, but someone that sits more in that creative and allows the environment around them to speak to them. Wow, really? Oh, this is fun. This is a lot of fun. Okay, so visually, oh, that's so interesting. It says highly intellectual, but I'm dyslexic, so especially when I'm like channeling out here, like so it has an H and a V. So I'm also reading it as visually intellectual, which we're talking about, like you really let the environment, again, I keep saying speak to you. Like, I feel like I'm kind of one of those people, like I have to make the thumbnail and then the reading will come after it. I do things kind of in a backwards way. It's like, yeah, I'm getting like a person that really like reverse engineers, but they do that with everything in the room. Like they can, I don't know, yeah, I'm getting, yeah, interior design, construction, you know, you could be more on the masculine side and really like building things and constructing, or an architect or something like that. But I feel like you would do this as so well even if you were designing a barn, or like even an own Pinterest page. Like we can take this down, this visual intellect that you have here, and really, you know, this is a place, I think we're probably going to put this on the other channel as well, because, you know, we really sometimes don't know the gifts that we have until someone, or how they can be applied until someone explains to us how that particular gift, or you know, just mastery, self-mastery can be applied in perhaps ways that you've never. That's why mentorships are really important, because people can see like a quality in you that you never even considered would be really important or highly sought after in another position or job. So it's really important to like talk to people that aren't, you know, are in positions or jobs that you would never think you would ever even be remotely interested in, but there's something, or there's like another position that would really, you know, like tie in. I'm just getting a person, I feel like I'm talking to a lot of people that are struggling right now, like what do I do with my life, or I'm so, yeah, it doesn't get a little prick, like poke, yeah, what do I do? I feel like I'm talking to young, I also feel like I'm talking to someone specifically that has a piercing up here, yeah, oh, that would look really cute. I don't know if I could do it, but anyway, specifically, we're talking to you, but this is a person that feels like they're really good at a lot of things and just can't narrow things down. And I feel like the universe is, actually they're saying this, and we just drove by like on the bus the other day, and now it's bringing it up. Go, like if you're, okay, I also feel like I'm talking to somebody that like maybe needs like some extracurricular activity, or something they need to show volunteer work or whatever. I feel like I'm really being called, and this might just be a confirmation, to tell someone that they need to start, or not need to start, but it would be a really great idea to start volunteering your time in like nursing homes or hospice places or something. I feel like you would get a lot of mentorship and guidance, and also like love and appreciation, and just like, so I feel like your soul's mixing, like I feel like you would be a light to these people that just have been possibly abandoned, or maybe, you know, have dementia, and people just like can't, you know, I just feel like there's someone here that just really, or a small group of you, and I feel like you're younger people that are really kind of looking for like guidance, and there's no other or better people that you can get that information from the people that have lived for the past 80 years, regardless of whether they did it during the age of the internet or not, or any, you know what I mean? But I mean, obviously they have, but I'm just saying, yeah, I feel like that's just a really important message for someone here. Wow, yeah, supersize, EQ, empath. Okay, this is also you're the most misunderstood out of the piles. There was one that's something, and this one is misunderstood because of how fast. Do you see how fast I'm talking? So I definitely feel like you have an air placement, or you're just very logically minded, but I just don't feel like, I'm not saying that you don't, you actually might have a lot of earth in your chart, but you definitely have a very significant air placement in your big five, because I don't get, or a Virgo, because of the Mercury, and the fact that like it's going retrograde, and I usually have such a hard time during the first couple of weeks, and I'm still able to articulate, so that I think there's like some earthy, I'm not out of breath, I know I'm really like tapping into this person's energy. I feel like it could be like a lot of air and a lot of like Taurus with like Virgo, like there's just this very, it's not, I don't feel like a lot of Taurus, because I feel like it should, but it could be, because right, if it was a Taurian with a bunch of air placements, that would just like keep the Taurus like very steady. I feel like, yeah, I just get a lot of momentum, I get a lot of, it feels like you're a bulldozer, I feel like you're pretty like slow and steady, wins the race type of person. Also, you get bored very easily, right? So I feel like sometimes you can come off, because it says you need to really watch your tone and your moods. It's something that you're unable to hide, and unless you're able to do that like effectively, people are going to feel it. People are going to know it. Yeah, you're one of those people, natural born alphas, right? My NBAs, what? Natural born alpha, that people like you determine the mood of a room. Like you can come in and you can be snitty and snappy and salty, and you know what I mean, with a little sand sprinkled you know where, and you can really make the rest of the room as bitter as you, or you can turn everybody little by little that was in a bad mood into a good. I realize that I can affect like an entire plane's mood if I want to, and that's just, it's like very disconcerting, because then you really have to take notice and like ownership of who you are as a person, and like how much you do affect the people around you. And maybe the things that have happened around you, you want to blame other people, and you realize maybe you're the person that like started it all off with your attitude, or how you walked into the house or the situation or the relationship in the first place. That's for somebody. All right, enough for the channeled messages. 9 minutes later. Okay, let's get into this pile one. They said one by one. Okay, so yeah, they said this is gonna go quicker. Okay, let me just get some tea. Okay. Alrighty, pile one. Let's actually get into some cards. We have Fox. So yeah, I definitely feel this kind of goes back. We'll just put the notes here with, knowing how to present. I also feel like you run, mental circles. We were saying that, mental circles around other people. So this is where you get bored. I feel like you can get up to a lot of mischief as well, too. Like, I feel like you play a lot of games, like, with people. I feel like, I'm just getting, like, a little bit of a trickster, prankster energy here, because, yes, the Fox can be sly, but I feel like this is more like you are bored, and you usually have all your stuff done, or if you're in a room, like, you already know what the politics are of it. You're not worried about anybody else, because you already know what the story is going down. So sometimes I'm getting this energy of, like, you'll pit little things, or you start little things, like maybe in the office or whatever, just to, like, get a rise out of people because you're bored, which means if you're this bored, you're in the wrong position, or you need to do something like work from home and do other things. Like with me, I have such an active mind, right? Like I'm a Gemini ascendant. I function like all the time up here, but if I give my hand something else to do, then it allows all of that to be grounded. But if I'm not doing anything, so usually people don't realize, but I'm listening to books, audiobooks, tapes, music, whatever it is, like 10 hours a day, and usually it's information. Usually it's readings, or like I said, a book or a podcast or whatever, and I'm constantly getting that information here while I'm doing, like, if I'm cleaning or like anything with my hands, or if I'm walking, I'm constantly listening, because it keeps me grounded to be able to keep my running system. It keeps it happy. It's like I'm getting information, and I'm able to file things or whatever, and then it just allows my central nervous system from operating on too much high, because I've got an Aries moon, right? So I'm just like, and if I didn't have a Capricorn, any earth in me, I'd be out of control. And maybe this says that I'm not, right? So, yeah. You get the story? Yeah, Fox. I also feel like you're just, you may not, I know a lot of people are like, I'm not, or whatever, but I don't care. There's a combination, you have a combination of looks, wit, intellect, sex appeal, vocabulary, mystery, maybe you draw people, or like just, creative things, or whatever you're into, or the fact that you're not into anything. There's something about you that just really is that, like, je ne sais quoi to y'all, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like that, this pile definitely has an it factor, and it's like no matter what you're working with, whether it's intellect or like a great head of hair or whatever, you make whatever it is like work for you. Also, we're getting the Aquarius card, and I'm just going to read off of this because this might trigger some, something in yourself, but it's saying that you're a genius and that you experiment with a lot of different things, right? You're always looking into like the discovery things, right? Aquarian, that rebel of the zodiac, the one that like goes out and is like, screw you, and like walks to their own beat of their drum, or whatever that saying is. You know what I mean? It's this person that isn't afraid to like wear polka dots when everybody's wearing stripes. And also, resulting from the eccentricity, like there's just something, you are definitely that person that has their own style. And I think it's this type of style that if somebody like around you at work were to like all of a sudden start dressing like you, it would be very obvious to everyone else that they were trying to emulate you. Like that's how I feel, like original. I don't feel like you're just like, we're raver kids and we all wear Jenkos and like cute like rainbow things or whatever to the parties or something like that. Like it's definitely like a certain kind of just vibe you have that's like uber vintage, like maybe from a certain era or something like that, where somebody, if they like came in walking with like, or wearing a bowling hat or something, and you're just like, really? Like you couldn't just have like, moved on to the 20s or something just to like okay. So yeah, I definitely, you see how I'm talking, I'm like, like you just got this, there's a little bit of it too. I was like, oh, sass a day, we'll keep, what is it? A sass a day will keep the basics away. I think. I don't know, I read it somewhere and then I like switched it up. Anyways, so yeah, very Aquarian. We've got the Singer of Healing. You know what? I think, okay, I think that because you're the Singer of Healing, I feel like just people are really, really attracted to you because you sit in your authenticity. I feel like you just being yourself and being willing to be yourself, to harness that. I don't care if you don't have an Aquarian Aqua in your chart. We all have all of the 12 zodiacs. They just might not be prominent or have a certain placement, but they're all represented in there. And when we are in that particular season or have a particular moon or transit or whatever, we are able to really harness this type of energy. So if you are that type of like earthy person that doesn't like change or anything like that, these would be opportunities when you're in a certain season or a certain Venus transit or something like that to really step into, you know, an alter ego, an alter version of yourself that says, you know, that old version of me wasn't like this, wasn't patient or whatever, but like we're in the like Taurus season and I'm really going to like just buckle down, because then you're working with the energy of the universe. Then things really start like speeding up for you, right? Because now you're floating downstream, right? You're not going against it, you're going with the current. You're like, yeah, I'll just hang out in Taurus energy and like those projects that I really need to like put the time into and the like the slow steady pace, whatever, I'll schedule those for like the May season or whatever, so I can get those done and really harness down and sit in that Taurian energy, and then also realize like what does that zodiac represent to me, and what are the things I can take with me the rest of the year as I go through these other changes and seasons and everything like that, right? That's round time. That's living on round time right there, okay? So the Singer of Healing, yeah. I feel like you just naturally heal people by being around you. I feel, yeah, it like sprays off of you, right? You can't help it because you are walking in your own truth. You have your own style. You have your own taste. You have your own way of communicating. You have your own way of magnetizing or repelling people if you want to. I feel like you're also a person, again, because you have that strong magnetism, you can repel people. People can tell by the way you walk into a room that you are not to be spoken to right now. I love this. It's like my diva of the piles, right? But I also see there's just this great, yeah, and I feel like a lot of people are just exasperated. I feel like they just have no idea what they're going to get. There's this box, there's this empty box, and you say, don't you dare put me in here. I put whatever I want to, whatever time of the day. If I want to put a vintage shoe in here, if I want to wear spikes the next day, if I want to be a librarian, if I want to be a mathematician, whatever it is, whatever this box you want to put me in, it's not yours to do, right? I have my own box. I do what I want to do. I put myself in my own box. You're not going to put anything around me, right? That Aquarian, like, you don't own me. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. You don't own me. Yeah, I love it. So the magician. Yeah, again, getting those Gemini vibes, right? The magician. And look at this. Look at this cheetah print, right? Look at this jaguar, cheetah. It's a I believe it's a jaguar, but it's like you have all of the tools, and you know what your resources are. You know what you're good, whatever, what you're good at, and you know what you're not good at. And you also know how to accentuate this thing. You know, I also feel like this is a person that I don't feel like maybe you necessarily like wear a ton of makeup or whatever, but you just know how to accentuate. Yeah, it's just that very like that interior design kind of feel that like everything that's around you, you're able to take the resources that you have around you and make them flourish. And that's what a magician does. It's called alchemy, right? It's saying I'm going to take this pillow and I'm going to take this painting and I'm going to take this comforter, I'm going to take this paint color, and I'm going to make something happen in this room. Okay, so yeah, getting a lot of those design vibes from this deck. So I can't help but just push that's, I feel like that's for somebody out there. And you're not afraid to take risk. You're not afraid to start over. If something's not working for you, you're not afraid to burn it all down and start over again. And a lot of people have a really difficult time. They stay in situations, they stay in partnerships, they stay in jobs, environments, housing, whatever it is, because they're afraid of change. And you are not a person that is afraid of change, and that's very, very admirable. Let's see, yeah, Mother of Swords, regardless of whether you're a masculine or a feminine energy that's watching me, or a non, we have all of those energies with us. So I'm not trying to be rude or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, regardless, you have a Mother of Swords energy to you, which means that you're very clear, you're very concise. You're not one of those people where they're like, where do you want to go? And you're like, well, definitely not to the zoo. They keep the animals caged, and people are like, okay, note to self, we're not going to zoos, circuses, or amusement park, anything with an animal. Like, you know, I feel like you just don't have any qualms with telling people like what you're interested in, what you're not interested. Like, I feel like people know exactly where they stand with you. Definitely could be a little intimidating to a lot of people, but I think it's worth it when people get to know you, right? Because you use this clarity in giving advice and in everything that you do. It's not just with people. So I think once people are able to get past this, you know, you might just be like, you know, might have a Sagittarian or a Gemini. Again, those air placements I keep getting. We also have the mother of air, right? Lots of air. There's Gemini cards here. But yeah, I feel like it's very comforting for people because they don't feel like you are going to, they feel like, I think anything for you to go in reverse is that you just stop talking to them. But I don't feel like they think you're a liar or anything like that, or anything is unclear. People are not unclear about you. And then we have Koala Spirit. Okay, yeah, I feel like this is one of like my most spiritual like cards in the deck. There was a reader that I really looked up to a long time ago, and she just called this laid back, chill, you know, Matthew McConaughey, and I can't help it because it definitely does feel that, especially living in Texas, right? It's like, you know, Willie for president, Matthew McConaughey, you know, that whole thing. But I also feel like you just have a lot of faith. I feel like that's also where your confidence comes from, because this is about spirit has a plan, and it's that laid back, like, you know, I think that's also another thing that's just really attractive about you, is that you're willing. People are like, there's nothing going on in your life, and you're like, exactly, that's when things are moving the fastest, right? That's when the vortex is swirling around me, when I'm not doing anything, when I'm trying for something too hard, when I'm trying to reach for something too hard. That's when I push it away, right? You ever notice if you get desperate for someone that you're interested in, they start backing away? Why? Because it's that energy, like, give me, I want, right? Versus, I have something for you, and maybe you have something for me, and if you don't, that's okay, but if not, let's try, you know? Like, you're coming, I feel like you're just not a person that reaches out of desperation. You're willing to lean back and attract. Yeah, you say, I attract, I don't chase, right? Oh, that's what they wanted to be. They said to say it here too. Okay, so Alice, I love Alice. Love exists, visions, love exists, visions. Amazing reader. She has subliminal, like, amazing reader, right? She talks really fast, so you might have to slow it down. But I mean, her just, and she says, she's like, you know, the sugar daddy is my universe. No, she says the universe is my sugar daddy. This is this energy. Like, I don't need you or that or whatever. Like, I am taken care of, and no one can take that away from me. So there's this just faith. It's not a mustard seed. You're like, it's a whole bag. It's a pumpkin seed, right? Like a big giant World's Fair winning pumpkin seed. That's weird. I wonder how big those seeds are though. Like an ostrich egg-sized seed. Okay, 4 or 5. Yeah, I also feel like you're very comfortable by yourself. I think this might be I think all of the piles, right? Here's the thing, is we can especially if it's a gas up reading. It's like, yeah, like, let's go ahead and like jump down I don't know if there's something, but I just feel like you're very comfortable. I can resonate with everything in all of these, is what I'm saying. And if you really want to like feel good, like that's what I do when I'm feeling down and I don't maybe have somebody to talk to or whatever. I'll just listen to let me gas you up, pickle piles, right? And then I start thinking, because it's all about your neuro pathways, changing your neuro pathways. If you change what you're saying inside of your head, regardless of whether you believe it or not, your brain will actually start to believe it. Look at Marissa Peer's TED Talk. It's like 3.3 million, and just talk about like if you pretend and imagine in your head that you're biting on a lemon, like eating an actual lemon, like your mouth will start salivating because you're thinking, because you have the picture of the lemon in your mind, and you're thinking, I mean, this is how brilliant, you know, just like changing your neural pathways and playing around with neuroplasticity and looking into neuro-linguistic programming, right? That's for all of these different tools we can use to become more intuitive and to be able to tap into regardless of whether you believe in a higher self or anything like that, right? We're not always talking about spirituality here. We're talking about like quantum physics, right? Like remote viewing, like being able to divinate and use these cards for timing and to tell us when things are coming in, and to know, like, it's not, we have to be able to separate like what we're doing here. Okay, I feel like I'm going down this diatribe, but yes, I feel like you're very comfortable. Somebody needed to hear that. about being by yourself, and just like, you don't look for other people's attention to validate your time or anything like that. People will be like, are you taking like justification? I know a lot of people think that of me. They don't realize that I put like 16 hours a day, like, and sleep is part of those things. Self-care is part of that. Nurturing myself in order to be able to do what I do now is part of that. Me being able to sleep like extra hours the past 2 days is so that I could have this energy to channel this information and get the messages out that need to be gotten out, right? So like, we have to get away from that hustle culture where it's like go, 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 go. And I come from literally like working my entire adult life, having 3 jobs at one time, almost my entire adult working life. I mean, I still do, but they're my own jobs now. They're self-imposed. So lightning, yeah, I feel like you get a lot of ideas. I feel, yeah, again, there's that air and that earth. I feel like also, okay, the claircognizance, it's coming up again. So I feel also there might be a lot of you that realize, or maybe starting to realize, that you're claircognizant and you just didn't know that you were because you didn't have anybody tell you that nobody else had that. Like, you just might be the person where you're talking to somebody and all of a sudden you'll just know something about them, but you're like, but they didn't tell me that, so how am I supposed to know that? Or you get a dream about them, or a song will come through and give you information about them, or it might be just like you might get little baby premonitions. You think it's deja vu, but you're like, I feel like, or I shouldn't go here. Like, there's just something, there's a knowing that I think that you've always had, but you didn't recognize that it was something that maybe not everybody else had, or wanted to, you know, and maybe you had this, but you just didn't want to believe that you were psychic, and you just like chalked it up to a lot of coincidences, or like, maybe, you know, whatever. And it's just like, no, your angels, your guides, like, people are talking, it's real, they're talking to you. The hummingbird, I just feel like, yeah, you know what I'm getting from the hummingbird? I just got chills. I feel like you have a lot of self-integrity. I feel like you're the person, I was just having this conversation with somebody the other day, because the hummingbird is a high vibrational person. They're also very present, right? They're a person that doesn't like live in, you know, in the future or live in the past, the anxiety, depression type of stuff. They make sure that the people around them, you are the type of person that makes people feel like they're the only person in the world when they have your attention. And I feel like you just bring a lot to people's lives. Ouch, as I get like, oh, somebody's attention on me. But I have the hummingbird, and yeah, it's like, it's okay, it's gonna be, that just distracted me. My apologies. Hummingbird, that you're present, but I also, oh, like that high vibrational, like you definitely bring, yeah, this is taking me somewhere else. You definitely bring you raise a vibration in the room. When you walk in, people want to, like, they stand up a little more, or maybe they're like minding their P's and Q's or whatever. I feel like the way you hold yourself and carry yourself when you come into a room, it shows people a little bit of like how maybe they're missing the mark, or maybe they're not doing, you know, it could turn into people might not like you because of this, because you show a mirror to them. But I feel like you're relatable enough to people to where they're like, wow, you know, I guess there's something to be said about, like, maybe looking at my face before I walk out the house and make sure there isn't any sleep in my eyes, or, you know, little basic things. I feel like just people feel like they want to, I feel like you just elevate people or around you just naturally by your vibration and being there and being present. That feels better. I also feel like you have a natural, like, forgiveness for people. I feel like this is a person that doesn't, why did that flip down where you weren't always like this? I was going to say, yeah, you weren't always like this. Oh, they also, okay, another group, also forgiveness. You also know that forgiveness isn't, oh wow. Okay, somebody's stepping in here. Wow, okay. You know that forgiveness doesn't necessarily mean that you go back to the same situation. You know how to love from afar. And this isn't something that you've always, yeah, the codependency, yeah, there's something here, there's a grand something. Puppy whispers, puppy love, my puppy whispers. I want you to know I love you, puppy. Okay, that's for someone. Okay. You also know how to be forgiven. That's really interesting. You know how to accept for other people asking for forgiveness. I don't know why it needed to be said that way. Sensitivity, yeah, you just definitely have a, yeah, there's something here, someone here. There's this sensitivity that you bring to people. I feel like they learn from you, what their own sensitivities are. Yeah, again, I feel like you just might be a person that also triggers people's latent gifts. You know I definitely have a lot of that in me, but there's something more to you. There's like this undercurrent of, and it's not only just unconditional love, it's this, I feel like you've lived a lot of lives and you've gone through a lot of different types of abuse and have been around a lot of types of abusers, that you are just able to like empathize with everybody on so many different levels, and they can just feel that. Like I'm also getting like Mary Magdalene energy coming in here, which is really strange. But all of a sudden I'm just feeling that from that card. I just got that card in my mind's eye from that one deck, and it's just this very like Jesus Christ consciousness, nurturing, forgiving. Yeah, there's that forgiveness card, and I feel like, yeah, we'll end on this. There's this authenticity to you. Again, we had that earlier, right, with that healing. That's what heals people. But you give people permission to be themselves, and that's what makes you special. That's what really like takes the cake, is what I'm hearing. Is like you just make people realize that like the little things, the little quirks, the little things that, you know, maybe people have made fun of them for or whatever, are like gorgeous in other people, the right people's eyes, right? It's the vibration of the people that we surround ourselves with. If we don't have vibrational people to be around, then let's go ahead and listen to them, right? Let's go ahead and research them. Let's go ahead and read those things. So pile number one, what a crazy, wonderful experience I've had with you. I hope that you enjoyed this. Please consider subscribing, liking. That helps my messages, the messages that we have, go out to, you know, the algorithm and all that, to the people that need to hear it. I'm also available for private readings. I love y'all so much, and you can catch me on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Clapper, Instagram, TikTok. What else? Facebook. There's another one. I don't remember, but yeah, on all the socials, you can find me. All right, we'll see you later. Bye, Pile 1. Hey, Pile 2. Welcome to Daughter of Wind Tarot. My name is Marbird, and yeah, let's get into this. Like, this is supposed to be like this gas up reading, right? And all of a sudden, I felt like the need to like put more protection on me. And I noticed this when I had this pile earlier, and I was looking, I was setting it here. There was like this dark mark over here. I don't know, I just feel like, and then all of a sudden, like my throat chakra with the last sip that I had, the last, can I speak? That last sip, like just went down like the wrong pipe, and I just felt like, and that's at the same time as I was reaching for my crystals. And I just feel like you need to up your protection. I'm like, I've got the water. We're going to spray you again. We're going to spray, like right directly in my eye. That never happens. Yeah, I just feel like there's a lot going on. And then I heard the word gaslight. So I feel like maybe let's just think of like who's your top gaslighter is in this story. Not even the scenario. It's not even a story, but I feel like there's something going on around you. And I feel like there are people around you that don't want you to know how freaking fabulous you are. I feel like that's the issue. And then something, so I'm just going to go through channeled notes as I was telling other piles. And earlier that this is kind of the first time I've gotten this. Usually I get them clairaudiently or claircognizantly. This is the first time that I was able to like get, like step into this pile and then I'll get all of this, like these downloads basically. So I feel like it's just a, you know, as we ascend and, you know, we go to the next level, whatever that level is, I always just imagine it like Mario Kart or something like that, or Zelda or something, and it's like, woo, okay, new spiritual gift coming on. Let's see how we can use this in a practical way, you know, actionable steps. And so I know that when I listen to, you know, before when I started, I listened to a lot more tarot. Now I listen to a lot more channelers. Because I get directed to, especially like pick a card, a lot of pick a cards are channeling. And not to say that zodiacs aren't as well, but I just have found, like I found some of the most gifted channelers through pick a card readings where they just have the stream of consciousness and they just, it's the little things like, I remember one time I said like Hoboken in one of my, and I got so many different people, like 12 different, it was one of my first readings. And people were like, Hoboken is where I'm like, it was like that one little word that I was just like, that randomly came in was a confirmation for people. And so that's why I say, you know, if 75% or even 30% or even if it's only one sentence, I feel like I'm talking to somebody that just is really having a hard time like grasping like, well, the whole thing isn't for me, or I'm not I'm not this particular sign, or this, so it's not for me. And it's not, it's basically, I feel like the zodiacs are like file cabinets. And it's like your first step of getting you into like, okay, if you have at least some interest in like your sun sign, now we can maybe go a little further in your moon sign. It's definitely an introduction to, you know, getting to a place where you can navigate your life and take your anxiety down because you have an idea of what's coming, right? And so that's just, I think I'm also getting a pile here that might just be stepping, is this the one? Because there was one here that might be stepping into your spiritual gifts. Okay, it's not the awakening. I think you're stepping into your spiritual gifts also. And the reason why I say that is because one of the first ones I got here was Wile E. Coyote, which is like one of my personal spirit totems. Wiley in particular as well. But Coyote has always, whenever I see Coyote, they're the divine trickster, right? Whenever you see Coyote, it means that there's a divine detour that's coming up that's going to throw a curveball at you, right? And so for me, I just feared seeing the coyote. I have like a coyote in 3 different books. I would have coyotes come out of the bushes, coyotes like dead in the street, coyotes like singing like all around when I'm biking. Like whenever a coyote comes, I'm like, let me get a helmet. I don't know what's coming. Now I am the coyote. And so I'm Wile E. Coyote. I feel like there's just spirit to pile 2 that it's just people, and it's the underestimated, right? People don't see you coming. And you are the divine trickster. You're like, what do they say in football? Like you juke. People think you're going one way and you go the other way. Yeah, like that's, and I feel like you're getting more, and you might just be coming out of this like dark night of the soul, especially if you've gotten to the point where you realize you do have spiritual gifts, and then coming to terms with that, especially if you've like come from a background of like organized religion or anything like that. There's a whole slew of things that come in, like trying to come out of the spiritual closet, being afraid of people, like, you know, or you're the opposite and you've been interested in your entire life and you've really like just strived and know the tarot like the back of your hand, whatever, but now like actual gifts are coming on, or maybe they're gifts you don't like. Like for me, like the mediumship is definitely something that has been a really long time for me to even remotely open up to. And so we're all in different places in our process here, but I feel like this is my moves in silence. Again, Wile E. Coyote energy. You move in silence. I think you're starting to say, oh, I can harness this. Like, this is something that I can actually use. I don't have to be the victim here, right? I feel like I was talking to a dear person to me the other day, and I was just saying, you know, I learned that, you know, the sensitivities that people, again, that gaslighting, like, oh, you're just sensitive. And you're like, that's right. I actually make a living off of my sensitivities. I help small children because of my sensitivities. I help people navigate their lives, their marriages. I help people that are trying to, you know, infidelity. Like, that's right. You are damn straight. I am sensitive. And you know what? I will make more. And I don't want to be like, oh, I will make more, but more difference in people's lives, because I have decided to step into my power instead of letting other people say that it's something that I should be ashamed of. Okay? That's for somebody. So yeah, I also feel like the way a lot of people tried to keep you down, because all of a sudden I got in, when I stepped into your energy, I got smarty pants and know-it-all and like la 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 la, and people like, oh, like maybe you were just like a really smart kid and people didn't like it, so they just wanted to make you feel bad. So maybe you made shitty grades so that you wouldn't be the kid that had the, you know what I mean, all the attention for being the good. There's so many ways to skin this cat of like where this trauma comes from, but it's definitely a lot of people trying to keep you small and not wanting you to realize like how special you are, okay? So just remember that, whoever's listening to me. I also feel like, where do we go here? Really quickly, you just want to make sure, you want to find out, it keeps coming up in like all of my piles, and there must be, it's the big transit, it's Mars and Gemini. I think it just happened, and it's going to be in Mars is going to be in Gemini for like 7 months or something. It's like something crazy. It's usually like 3 or 4 months or something, but it retrogrades in it and then it goes forward. So it's like, it's going to be a really, really big transit. If you want to harness this energy, right? Mars and Gemini, that's communication. That's like, this can be like the biggest balls to the wall 7 months of your career if you want to, or like starting, if you have some really great placements, or, and you're really looking starting social media, like this is the time to get into it, like right now, right? This is that push where everybody's like, oh, I wish I got in. A lot of people wish they got in 2020. This is like a bigger push, okay? So also, yeah, Libra, I also feel like there's a lot of air, but I feel like there's fire. I feel like it's balanced. I'm not feeling a ton of water in this energy, but there's something here about also if you have a Libra placement, Libra, Gemini, or Aquarius placements, I feel like this is definitely a pile that you might want to just, everybody's like, oh, you just want me to watch more of your content. Well, if it's going to help you, yes. That's why I'm up here doing it for free, right? Because I want to share, like, I don't want this gift and keep it for myself, and I want to help you harness your gifts so that you can, like, pay it forward, right? So, yeah, if you're in that mindset, because I can feel, like, I can already feel it, I'm like, you know what, like, click off the channel until you stop getting triggered, right? Because I will trigger the house. That's, like, literally, I'm a little trigger, right here, baby. So, if you have a problem with that, then, like, find another reader that will sugarcoat it a little bit more for, I ain't Willy Wonka. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I just, I made a little meme for an Instagram post. I got that off of somebody's. I did notate it. But yeah, people feel like you have a Jekyll and Hyde type of thing, or they tell you that you do. And I think you might just be that person that's like, I'm on until, and then I'm off, right? Like, kind of like, but I also, oh yeah, I just felt like I heard this. Like this clicked off. People like feel like you're a minefield. Like it's like it feels like that. It felt like it was a grenade. Like somebody steps on the grenade and it's like chicken. They're like, yeah. You're like, there's no coming back from that one. Yeah, that's what it is. Ooh, your cutoff game. I feel like I'm talking to a. But well, I'm like, if I'm talking to a lot of these, people with air placements, I'm not saying that I'm talking to a Libra. I'm talking about look at your placements, because you're like, I'm not a Libra, I'm not an Aquarius, and like you may have, like me, I'm a Venus Aquarius, which means I operate, because I work a lot with Venus, out of my Aquarian side. I identify with Aquarius more than probably any of these signs. Because that's my primary focus when I'm trying to harness energies or work with certain, deities or astrological, the astrological weather, and trying to make sure that I'm maximizing and using all of the resources, like trying to be the magician, the alchemist, right, Gemini? Right? Resourcefulness. How do we get off in there? But yeah, I feel like it's been used against you. I also feel like you use it against other people. But I also feel like it's one of your best qualities, because you are able to, not only do you do this with other people, but you do it with yourself. And I feel that it makes you like a really great empathic person to work with, because you are able to like very easily, I feel, put yourself in other people's shoes, which people don't realize is like, it's like a kind of like a transference, holographic, like telepathic type of thing, to be able to like sit in somebody's actual body and their experience and view through their eyes. Some people can do it through dreams, right? Dreams are other people's eyes, right? So like we can do that. Like that's what remote viewing is, right? Is to look through another person's eyes, and then you're able to see, because it's all memory. It's all energetic, like electromagnetic, all the fancy science, right? They're actually proving these things, quantum physics, right? So we're all connected. So like this isn't just like, science fiction or anything like that. And I know I'm just talking to a group. I feel like I'm having to explain a lot of these things. And there were so many things I did not know about what was happening to me. And I had to I just got little bits and pieces from different readers that would actually tell their experience. Like I didn't know there was ascension flu. I didn't know that I could cover my crown if I was getting dizzy, and like it helped me so much. For like a year and a half I had to do that. But it was like all these things, and I don't want to, because this shouldn't be some like cloaked, like weird occult or whatever. Like there's a difference of like, practicing witchcraft and just harnessing your own psychic abilities for your own profit. Right? Like here, this is where I talk about, I don't get into the craft because I don't want to incur any other, like, I'm not trying to manipulate to do anybody to do something against their own will. Just for my karmic, for me to be able to stay karmically clear, it's not something I'm willing to occur. Now, if I need to protect myself, you're damn straight that I'm going to. Right? Because just because I operate from that doesn't mean that other people do. And that's something that I've learned. And you really have to consider, if you're wanting to come into the spiritual community and realize that, you know, this is real. Like, this isn't play. Like, there are very strong psychics out there that can really, like, you know, or people that practice that can really, like, impede your progress, like, in life. So you don't want to get mixed up in the wrong things, or, you know, tap into the wrong entity. But we have a choice. It's free will, and I didn't know that. Like, I thought, like, things would just start visiting me in the night, and you know what I mean. And I think some people have that, but also I feel like, you know, maybe if you opened yourself up to that, you know what I mean. There's definitely some things that I don't, because I just don't. It's not necessary, like, for me, because again, that's not my intention. And right, we are always talking about intention and where it's coming from. It's like 13 minutes of channeling, sorry. So pessimistic, a lot, unseen, anxiety. I feel like this is you. Yeah, I got a pineal gland activation, so I think your third eye is starting to really kind of pop off for you. So you might be dreaming more, lucid dreams. You might start seeing, like, orbs and stuff like that, or like lamps behind you. Like, you might start seeing, like, people in it. You might feeling like warmth on your body or whatever, especially if you've got any mediumship things, or you might just, your clairaudience might be coming. You might feel like you're a little crazy. You might feel like birds are watching you, or you might feel like, right, when you're in the song at the grocery store and every song, like, it is like just in, like, what you were thinking or what you were just saying, whatever, or things are lining up, especially repeating numbers. If you keep seeing them, not just the numbers themselves, but you keep seeing them, every, like, different ones, it means that you're in alignment, but it, like, really weirds you out. Then you can't really feel like that you can talk to anybody. I just feel like, I just need to let you know, like, everything that's happening to you right now is, like, A-okay, it's normal. As normal can be without feeling crazy, right? So yeah, I think universe really wanted me to, like, sit here and, like, have a longer conversation with some of the people that might be waking up. And I feel like the people that are waking up, I know there are a few people in my life that just woke up, like, in a month, and it took me 3 years. Right? And there's people before me that took them 20 years to be where they are out, you know, spiritually, whatever. And, like, there's some of us, like, right, in, like, 7 months or 2 weeks that are just, like going through a full on, like, ascension flu. Like, what's going on with me, like, you know what I mean, like, floating, astraling without even knowing it. Yeah, so a lot of things can be happening, and I feel like this is the pile where it might be, if you're attracted to pile 2, 15 minutes in, it's probably happening to you at something. Okay, so pineal gland activation, you can look that up. That's the third eye. And also, if you're starting to feel like you're getting floaty or whatever, you can always just take a handkerchief or just a hat if you're a guy and put a hat on, and it'll help that feeling of, like, also if you eat something, that helps grounding as well. Okay. Unexpected love of yourself, realizing you were never truly loved. I feel like that's coming in, yeah, because you can't break into these, you can't ascend, you can't go to the next level if you're not having these realizations for yourself. And just like, and you might, it's just a lot of times it looks like a crying, like it's just a release, and then all of a sudden it, like, floats away, and then you're like, what the fuck? You're like, what the bleep? Like, what just happened? Like, why do I feel like 1,000 times? Like, that's all, like, these memories will come up, and if you just process them and say, like, that wasn't my fault, and I can't blame them, and, like, you just go through and you let the feeling come out, and then you cry, and you actually let the tears physically come out, because it's in here. Like, this is where cancer comes from. This is where constipation comes from. This is, our body tells us all the time, like, there's something wrong with you, right? Get out of your environment, change something, eat something different. Like, there's something wrong. Hello, alert, alert, alert. Our bodies constantly tell us. So, like, if you're getting these, you know, like, this, like, overwhelming, but, like, maybe you're, like I said, I feel like I'm talking to a lot of masculines. I've been looking at my statistics, and it's almost 50-50. You know, I know, hey, presentation, looks, pretty lady, whatever, helps. But if that means I can get you in here and let you know that I'm talking to everybody here, and not just, like, yeah, take that as confirmation. Not talking just to feminine females or cis women, or, right, cis females. Pardon me, still, yeah, there's somebody. Anyways, I just feel like, anyways, we're getting out of that. I'm like, that just got ripped away from me. Too much. 16 minutes, I know, sorry. Not made to try to, can I speak? I'm not trying to make you feel paranoid. All right, so here we have, yeah, this is really funny, and then we're just going to end with this really quickly, is I feel like as a child, you were, not that you were interrogated, I feel like you interrogated a lot of people as a child. I feel like people were very uncomfortable. I feel like you were a very inquisitive child. And I feel, sorry, I'm just hearing beeps, but I feel like you were a very inquisitive child, and I feel like you made a lot of adults around you very uncomfortable with all of the questions that you were asking. Obviously, probably no one knew that you were tapped in or what have you, but I'm getting that, but that was kind of a reason why you may have been, like, people didn't like you when you were younger or something along those lines, because of this uncanny knowing that you had around the adults, and the adults did not like it, so they shut it down in any way that they could, right? Smarty pants, keeping you under the rug. Oh, that's really, I don't know why that came out. That's, okay, let's not get into that. All right, we're gonna go through these really fast because I feel like most of the information needs to come from that channeling. I just feel like this need to like self-soothe and like comfort myself. Also, if you feel like your central nervous system is like really overactive, you might want to look into getting a weighted blanket. A weighted blanket can really help like with your sleep and make you feel like comforted and nourished, like it's just like sleeping with a big hug around you, and it can really help you. So that's coming in for somebody. So next up we have Hawk Spirit, okay? So Hawk Spirit, really interesting. I was visited by a flock of hawks. I don't think that's right, but it's fun to say. Earlier this week, and it was just talking about like this huge spiritual awakening change that's coming in, and I feel like you see it's like coming from the dark and going into the light. I feel like you're just coming out of like a really dark place, and you're really starting to see like that light ahead of you, like that there's something, yeah, like the tunnel, at the end of the tunnel of the light or something like that. Yeah, I also feel like you're starting to get like a bird's eye view, like, right, you're not just like on the ground like pecking at things or whatever, like you're starting to see your life and maybe just your world in like a totally different perspective, right? I feel like you're coming out of a hangman type of energy, and you're really starting to like realize that there's something bigger than what you thought. Like maybe you're just coming out of like not only like a dark place, but maybe just a lot of boredom, or feeling like there's just like, is this it? Right? And not knowing there's so much magic always winking at you around you. So yeah, wow, you're getting clues. My crystals, I know I'm being weird, but my crystals are falling. I'm like, I'll just set them right there. I'm being weird. Okay, so the need. So yeah, I definitely feel like I'm talking to, because if you are a light worker, and if you are a healer, and if you do identify, you're going to hear me talking very strangely because Mercury is starting to backspin. Okay, and I have 6 mercurial placements set, including my ascendant. I thought that was like BS, and it's not. So it's going to be annoying for a while. But you know, this power stroke, I feel like I'm definitely talked into like my light workers, healers, empaths, intuitives. And I definitely had I feel like they're all in their different, because you can definitely be, you know, have a big, you know, mishmash of that, but I feel like there are some people that are just intuitive or just empathic or just, you know, I feel like there's a separation, and there's just people that just were blessed with it all, right? And so I definitely feel like this is the crowd, where, you know, because you are in that position, you probably have had to grow up, you know, the child warrior type of archetype, right, of having to grow up, having to raise the people around you, or take care, or you were neglected, something along those lines, where I feel like you just really had to learn how to fend for yourself, and in becoming that and being raised in that, or being around that and always feeling that, you know, you've got this Pluto placement here. It's like a power struggle, the obsession, the need for control, and maybe, you know, like I will say, a spiritual awakening is not like the most fun thing to go through, because what are you having to give up? Control, right? What are you having to do? Forgive others so that you can now have control over your life, like true control. Because if you can control your emotions and people cannot trigger you, then you have control everything else in your life, right? But it's really difficult because it's not about controlling the emotions. It's like acknowledging them, releasing them, and then we're having to deal with them again. But you realize that we just have to let them up. So if you've been, I definitely have struggled with like, you know, low key addictions my entire life to many different things, right? Not necessarily substances, but people or jobs or positions or, you know what I mean? Boxes that people put me in or I put myself in, like just an addicts, right? It's that self-medication type of energy, and really it's what it is. It's self-medication. There's so many people that have been undiagnosed and like just improperly like raised. Like, I mean, our parents did the best they could with the best, you know, that they had, but we also have to realize like that what we grew up in really shaped our reality, and we don't know how much of that we bring into all of our relationships. So I just feel like there is this group of people that really are learning like self-forgiveness, and it might be because of a catalyst, or it could just be spontaneous, you know, or, you know, but a lot of times it's from something that's happening that just really, you know, whether it's a breakup or, you know, and getting a big like divorce type of thing, and, you know, or the losing, you know, there's just so many things, right? We all work through our karma in so many different ways and learn our different storylines and work through those things, and or we don't. But Pluto, you know, this is like some deep-seated stuff, because Pluto only comes through our chart like once, I think like every 30 years it changes or whatever, so you only have like one transit, but it's a long transit, and it's like bringing up all of these things, right? And a lot of like ancestral type of things that people are really breaking these types of courses, not courses. I don't know why that came out. Sorry, something dropped down and I said courses, so I guess that's what I needed to say. Moving on, so we have the RAR here, and this is feeling like this is the card that really talks about like having this, like, I mean, you know what it looks like. It's blue and it's, you know, a sphere, but it's that Mars energy, right? It's that like there's something inside of you, right? Something that's very, you know, if we think about, if we really want to go down that, you know, of something that's very tender and very, you know, precious, where life comes from, right? And the sacral, that creative center, right, when we're talking about this. But I feel like, you know, because it's blue, I know this is like such a strange, I'm not trying to give anybody this type of visual, but because it's blue, we're talking about the communication. I feel like there's something coming up that's like coming from that center, this creativity that wants to just burst from your mouth, whether it's, and I feel like it's an artistic, I feel like it's art. Like, I just feel like I want to go like, should have like magic shoot out of my fingers, my hands, like seriously, like there is something in you that just like, and I feel like you can't help it yet, and I'm getting like this kind of like cyclopsy kind of like, maybe, oh, I'm feeling so much energy in my hands. Maybe you have a superpower that you didn't know that you had. I feel like somebody has like really like really intense hand magic or something along those lines. I know, you know, there's people that work with Reiki or whatever, but there's, you know, like I have to kind of like really conjure up some, you know, some energy when I'm trying to do this. But yeah, oh, I can feel it right there. So whoever is watching me and like feeling like this radiating through your hand, see if you can harness it like this. See if you can roll it into a ball, push it, see if you can push it up into your body. See if you can, you know, you can always see if you can try and move things with it. But I feel like just practicing, seeing if you can, maybe you have a buddy that you can say, hey, I'm just like during the day or whatever, I'm going to push this energy at you and see if you feel it, or do you feel your hands heat up? I'm going to say, you know, I want to heat up their hands, and you imagine their palms, and you imagine them on fire or whatever, and you just send that energy that way, and you keep going, and then all of a sudden you'll feel your palms light up, right? And then you can just send that energy to them. But you can say, hey, I'm going to do it 3 times this day, and see if they pick up on it, and they can write a time down, and you can write the time that you did it, and you know, you can play little games like that. But I feel like, yeah, there's somebody just like, there's some type of tactical kinetic gift that you have, because I feel like it's more than Reiki or something like that. There's something going on with your hands, my friend. Okay, and I feel like, yeah, I feel like it's like out of your hands. Okay, oh, wow, whoo, that just took me for a, it's love, it's Eros. it's this diamond that's been under pressure. You know, that's what diamonds come from, right? Is being under pressure, the coal or like a pearl, right? It's like they can only be made, this beautiful thing can only be made under extreme pressure. And that's what you're finding. You're finding this center. You're finding something inside of you that you never realized that you had. And I feel like because it's got this judge, and it's got this weird energy because it says the judge. And I feel like you are dropping judgments. I feel like you've been I've seen this black and white. Everything's compartmentalized. There's no gray, right? It's either this or this. You're either this to me or it's that to me, right? It's like this interruption. Like in these different parts of your life, there's something that's like sullying something that you thought. There's a seed planted, like in what you thought was going on here. Now you're realizing there's something else that you didn't see. Like you're seeing, because these are different backgrounds, right? You're seeing the thing that like should have been obvious, but it wasn't because you were looking at the majority of something, right? I think you're starting to be able to also make like discerning judgments about different things in your life. I feel like you're starting to see, like now I'm seeing like a rock in the shoe, like what the problem of this has been, like what has been the irritant, what has been the problem here. You know, this card here, the four of cups, this talks about being apathetic and not caring about what you have, and like just being kind of like, you know, you've got this with this particular four of cups, like this greedy type of, I'm going to keep to myself. I almost get like Four of Pentacles off this, but this is with your emotions, right? It's like, but this is in the reverse, right? This is saying, I no longer want to do that. I no longer want to hold on to these cups. I no longer want to feel like this vermin, like this person that's just like blocking, but I was blocking it with this body that's not even mine, that this person that I'm not this person, and I'm not a rat, I'm not this person. That's what I keep feeling. It's like, I'm not this person. And I know that now, right? But maybe all these cups told me that I was, right? And so I just like smothered them, or maybe didn't, you know, pay attention, or there's something here that you're just like, I'm not vermin. Maybe this is what other people told you you were, and you believe them. And you didn't realize that you were the moon, that you were this, you know, could have some Cancer placements just because we're talking, literally the moon is Cancer, but but the moon is all about like intuition, right? And like reading the waters and like knowing things in your body, and people like, right, we got this whole gaslit energy when we got this, a lot of gaslighting, right? And you feel like never feeling healed, right? Never feeling like you could be the star. You felt like you could be a star. I felt like there was a lot of hope. As a child, you've had a lot of, you know, and I also feel like I'm talking to some really young kids that are like, and if you're, because I feel like there's some 15 and 16-year-olds watching me right now, you better hop off and come back in a couple of years, okay? Saying this is like for adult entertainment only. I feel you. And lay off the vape. Okay, sorry. But yeah, feeling like there's no healing, but I feel because of this the coloring and like the star, like I feel like you just had like a lot of hopes and dreams, right? And then like you just got beaten down, and you felt like you were this falling star, and like just upended, like still feeling like feeling here, but it's like under the surface, like you couldn't shine, right? It was like all of your star, you were just surrounded by other people that wanted to keep you dark, right? They're like, even though they're smaller than you and you're this big fat star, they're making you feel to stick in this, that they don't want you to see your light. They don't want you to get up here and see how bright your colors are. They want to keep you here. Yeah, I feel like, and there's and you can see, right? You can see the moon again, right? The moon again. Why couldn't you see? Because you love too hard, right? You heard these two pines, like trying to match people's energy, like, and not like just trying to be there for the sake of being there. Not knowing what you're going to, not using your intuition. Well, maybe not even knowing you had an intuition. You know, I didn't know I had one until I had to stop drinking, right? To realize I even had one. And that, like now, I drink to numb down my intuition. Like if I'm at the club or something like that, I drink so that I don't feel, right? So like if you get into a habit of drinking or like medicating with other things, then you can't feel like your real feelings. And if you can't feel the real feeling, then you can't identify the problem, right? So a lot of these like medications, like when I finally like even now, it's like when I have pain, like I'm very, very hesitant until it gets bad enough to take pain medication, because I want to know how bad it feels. I don't want to just run around on it and then injure it more because I can't feel what it feels like. I want to feel the pain, so because pain, right? When we feel pain, it's contrast, right? It's giving us information, right? So it is a red flag that something is wrong, right? Something has happened, something has damaged us, right? So if somebody's making you feel painful, like maybe like just like from a physical, when you were a little kid and you touched a hot stove and you're like, ouch, that hurts. That's not the person, right? That's not the place to go touching. It doesn't matter how it hurt. You know it hurt. Just back away. People like, I didn't see the red flags the first time they hurt you, because people that love other people won't hurt them. Not intentionally, right? Okay. But you have all the intuition. You've got the star. You've got there's all of this energy that you've been having, and you just haven't believed in yourself, and it's fine. And the universe is saying, it's first of all, calm down, be peace, dove spirit, be peace. You are protected, right? You are protected. You are held in underneath the shadow of this loving, beautiful dove spirit. The universe has got you covered, right? They're not going to expose you like this and not give you extra protection, right? Because this is where you rebirth yourself. This is where you start reparenting yourself. You don't blame it on your parents. You say, you know what? They did the best they could with the information and knowledge that they had. I have to forgive them. I'm not going to forget. But what I'm going to do is become my own parent now. Right? I'm going to take care of my own inner child. If I need a hug, I'm going to hug myself. I hug myself all the time. I pat myself on the back all the time. I hug and cry all the time. All the time. And I've made it a habit, right? And there's so many things that I'm like, it's okay. Like the things that I wanted my parents to say to me, I just say it to myself, right? That's reparenting. Then I don't have to look for outward validation. I don't need somebody else to tell me that they love me. I tell myself I love myself all the time, and I believe myself. And it took a long time to do that. But saying it in the mirror and looking myself in the eye and doing it over and over and finally believing, and then starting to like keep promises to myself. So I started like really starting to like be impressed with myself and like really like, you can do it. I know, you can break this pattern. Like you can do it. And if not, it's okay, but like do less next time, like tiny increments. That's how I did this. Tiny increments, 1 TikTok a month, right? Or TikTok a day for a month. Tiny little, 1 push-up. I know it sounds crazy. 1 push-up a day, just so I would do something for 30 days. And I was like, this is ridiculous. I can do 1. But it still took, like, because even at 1, I was just like, and I was like, it's 1. You can do 1. And all I had to do was just get into, like, making tiny wins for myself. And it seemed so, but it just made it easier to, like, to get the momentum going, right? So I feel like I'm just, like, really coaching somebody, a group of people that are here. That's why they only want to have the 3 piles. 7 Earth, I feel like you're really looking at, this is more like an introflexion. Is that a word? I can't say it. Introspection. 7 of Earth, like what 7 of Pentacles. I think you're really looking at like what you have invested and what you like want to invest more in. I also feel like there's just this whole like, yeah, like the back of look at the mirroring of these 2 cards. You cannot make this stuff up. I love my job and I love this work so much, because look at the mirroring of these 2 cards. 2 different decks, mind you. Right? The Pachamama, I always look at this, somebody's, their crown, their third eye, they're starting to get all this information, all this stuff that's not, like, they're like, sometimes, also, if you start feeling like there's a hole in the back of your head, again, you can cover that up, because sometimes you'll feel like you're getting dizzy or like vertigo, or like there's a hole back there, and I think it's another chakra that I'm not sure of, but I feel like you're just getting a lot of information, a lot of ideas, a lot of downloads, but I feel like it's just like this really expansive, like you also, like your dreams might be kicking up as well. But you have this serpent energy. This is so intense. I'm like really feel into this. Like you are just a natural romantic lover. I feel something on my hand right now. A natural romantic person. I feel like also like you have this, like what's really just really great about your energy is that you're able to match people where they're at, right? You see like the 2 here, I feel like it's like that spooning. It's like I feel like you're able to make people feel, no matter who they are, where they're at, like loved and comforted. Like, again, I'm just getting that spooning, like 2 people, like that S curve, right? Of like, I've got you surrounded. And even if, it doesn't matter what your stature is, it's your energy. It's like this warm, welcoming embrace that just envelops people. It's like, it's very, it's lovely. Yeah, integrity. See, and I think this is why people feel so safe with you, because you carry yourself with this innate sense. You don't have to say it. You just have this innate sense of integrity, self-integrity, right? I was talking about this again with my dear friend, my dear person, that, you know, self-integrity, doing the right thing, you know, when no one's looking. Well, the reason why I felt doing, like, I realized doing that, it gave me peace of mind. I didn't always have to, like, did I do that? Or did I not? Or did I lie about that? Whatever. If you just always do, and I say not the right thing, I'm not saying be a Pollyanna. You know what I mean? I'm not saying, like, you know, sometimes I'm like, you know what? I'll take the karmic hit for this. I'll be petty as I'll get at. I'll do something knowing full well I'm going to get it back. But it's like, I'm like, I'll take it. I'll take it. Worth it. Right? But I'm just saying, you know, just realize whatever you put out there, especially when you get into this work, it comes back a lot faster. This isn't like cheat on the boyfriend and you get cheated on by the, you know, next 2 years. It's talking about like it's happening next week, right? Like when we work with this energy and we have to keep ourselves energetically open, we have to keep ourselves energetically open to that backlash, right? As well. So I also feel like this is a group where if you're feeling like really, there might be some people that are really kind of sending you a lot of stuff, a little bad juju, whether they know how to do it or not, but doing it, you know, thoughts become things. Really, first of all, you need to just get yourself in a high vibrational, because the higher vibe that you vibe, the more the energetic backlash is going to, it's going to be faster. That return to sender energy is going to just naturally, like your walls are going to get bouncier. Does that make any sense? Like the more it comes at you, the more it shoots back directly towards them, and harder and faster with a lot more velocity than they sent you in the first place. So when you raise your vibe, it's not about you. I'm not saying don't protect yourself, but I'm also saying know that there is so much more. The higher you vibe, and you just think about the high vibing instead of getting back at them, your vibration goes up and your protection gets stronger. And then when things start coming back to people at a lot faster pace, they'll just eventually stop messing with you, because it's going to come back so fast, they're going to know what it was. And it's going to come back in the same way that they tried to deliver it to you, right? So there's going to be the universe is going to be like, you do not, or your ancestors miss with this particular person, my person. People will find out that, you know, and also people, be careful, because people will also realize that if they're under your protection, right, if they're hanging out with you, or if they're dating you, or if they're just getting access to your energy in some way, right, we got to be careful of those spiritual STDs. But if they have something like that, that they also get that umbrella of protection as well. So be really careful, because I think a lot of people, like I know, like with me, with my energy, people, I'm kind of like a little bit of a good luck charm, right? Because I come in, I'm that energy that's just like, I know how to motivate people. That's what I did, you know, professionally for a long time. And I know how to get people like into that high vibe state and like starting to feel better about themselves and making those little tiny things and like how to motivate teams. And, you know, that's what I did for a really long time and on a corporate level. And so I just feel like you know how to use your energy and how to walk into these places and raise people's vibrations, and they get around you and things start like happening because they're changing things, right? They're starting to like maybe say no to the right people or the wrong people, but now they're going to get dragged down. Those other people don't want them to change because they don't want that dynamic to change, right? So then you might have people that are dragged out of your life very suddenly because somebody saw them like coming toward you and getting, you know, different and starting to level up or whatever. They're like, oh no, you need to stay right back down here. I'm going to like get an argument, or I'm going to like forbid you from leaving the house, or I'm going to take you away on a trip to make sure that you don't hang out with this person, or we're going to just keep you here with our group just hanging out with us and like doing lots of drugs or whatever it is, you know what I mean, and hang out with us so that you don't remember how good you were feeling, like how much more money you were making when you were with, you know what I mean, like that's what people will do. So we have to really be careful of who we let in our energy, and also we let them know what's going on with us, right? Moving in silence, really, then you can harness the surprise factor, right? Right? And you control the narrative when you don't tell everybody the narrative, okay? And it gives people a lot less opportunity to sabotage you, okay? So connection, here we have, I feel like it's just very easy, right? We've got all this, like there's so many layers. I feel like there's so many things that you're able to connect with people, and people just really appreciate that they can come to you and they know that you know a lot of things about a lot of different things, right? That you're not just this one-sided person. You also look at things we were talking about, like from both sides of point of view, being able to have that devil on the shoulder, angel type of thing, or the Jekyll and Hyde, right? Or the, you know, again, opposing points of view in order to be able to be excellent in a debate. I feel like people just really know that they're going to get some type of objective information from you. But you're also, you know, an excellent networker, I feel, as well. You're able to connect the dots and just say like, oh, you two would be really great. Like, maybe let's just like get lunch together or whatever, or, you know, making introductions. Just really, I feel like you're just a natural born schmoozer. And then look at this. I love this so much. It's that warm hug energy from you, right? It's just the core when people describe who you are and what a wonderful person, what they remember, right? Like, Maya Angelou says, you know, people will always remember how you make them feel, right? And it's something along that. I don't want to butcher that. She's lovely. I love my job. And we have kindness here. So I just feel like that's just kind of like, you know, if you ever wanted to wonder what people would say in your obituary, it would be that you were a kind person. I love that so much. Pile 2, a lot of information. I hope it helps. Please let me know what's going on with you. If you have any questions, I can try and answer them. If not, I will try and get answers to you on the other channel, which I'll let you know soon once I get the first pick of pile. It's all going to be about career. And I mean, it's just going to be and developing your skills and all sorts of stuff. So please stay tuned. I would love to have your likes, comments, and shares and comments. And if you're interested in a personal reading, I will have a link in the description box below. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Bye, Pile 2. Hello, Pile 3. Welcome to your reading. There is a lot. Okay, first of all, I'm just going to tell you straight up. Oh, hi. Yeah. Okay, so we'll be doing the channel messages first, but like first, before even that, just shuffling your cards, there was this reluctance for the cards to come out. I had to like knock on one in order to like release the energy. Like all the other ones, it was just like, no. So I feel like somebody like, and I feel like there's just a lot of Taurian energy because I keep getting like backing up, like something's trying to like push you or pull you towards it. And I just see like smoke or dust billowing with like I don't want to go, no. So I feel like there's Taurian or earth in there that's just like, I don't want to change, I don't know what this is, what's happening. And so you're the one that I actually thought was getting a spiritual awakening, but I feel that pile 2, first of all, there might be a lot of overlap for you. It also might be giving you, pile 2 may be a premonition of what's to come, or part of what's going on, and you just need to hear little bits and pieces of it. But I definitely feel that there's and what is a spiritual awakening? It's like starting to see the magic in the universe, like things starting to talk to you, you starting to connect a lot of dots that aren't usually connected, starting to know. I do have here, but it's happening very quickly, not wanting to talk. I had to spank the deck. I love doing that for some reason. The reluctance. Oh yeah, also, another thing, I had a lot of trouble getting the cards out, doing it just the regular way. I was doing it this way. Yeah, I was holding the cards, and then I switched to my left. No, okay, I was doing it like this, right? And then I switched to my left hand. Yeah, which is the feminine side. So when I switch over to the feminine side, the cards came out, but it wouldn't come over on the masculine side. So I feel like there's this imbalance here. I feel like you might have actually a very well-developed feminine side, but your masculine side might be a little underdeveloped, and that could be because maybe you're feminine that's like sits uber in their feminine and never had like a proper masculine type to be able to balance that and have that action taking as well as that receiving type of thing. Just an unbalanced masculine that is actually really good with their nurturing feminine part, but the masculine, like they might have been emasculated like by partners in the past, or always just like fell into like a very demure or like submissive type of role to like powerful women or something like that, or you know, kind of like the person that ends up where they're like, you know, they're like, oh yeah, guys like, you know, itches. And it might be kind of that like maybe somebody carried more masculine and then you're just like fine with it because you're like, all right, like you can do all the stuff, that's perfectly fine with me, I'll just be back here doing what I like in my man cave or whatever. So whatever it is, I feel like Yeah, like there's just this underdevelopment and someone's starting to get a little bit more because like right when we start realizing our true nature and like how we show up in the world to other people and how people react to us because of what type of energy we're putting off, right? It can be just really like, whoa, wait, I might be the common, it's a lot of that self, like I might be the common denominator. I point my finger to everybody else, but I might have had, so when we start taking like that accountability and like self-acceptance and then then we just can forgive ourselves and say, well, I didn't know any better. I know better now. I can make better choices. But at that point in time, I had no clue what I was doing. I was just like living through and working through my karma. And I didn't even know what that was or how it really works. And, so there's so much that you're going through. And I feel like you're learning at like a very fast pace. I think also like you might be researching and going down a lot of rabbit holes, or a lot of rabbit holes might be presenting themselves to you, which a lot of people don't realize when you start doing this. The people say the algorithm, it's the algorithm of the cosmos, right? The universe. It's like, you need to see this at this time because there's one little sentence in there that's going to like send you down the rabbit hole of finding what you need to find. Like that's how the magic happens. And it happens everywhere and it's always around you through nature, through phone calls. They love to use electronics. We're like electromagnetic beings. Why would they not use the technology at hand to be like send you a YouTube video when you need to see it, right? Using the number generator and you get the pile that's like completely speaking to your soul, right? That's what I love about all of this. It's like every time, and it's not every time because I don't take it for granted, but sometimes I do. Like when I get around somebody new and they get around me and my energy, because things just but I practiced, right? This isn't just me, right? Like this is a well-honed skilled, and I say skilled, that it was developed and born out of some crazy, crazy circumstances, which maybe I'll share with you. I'm thinking about starting up my podcast again, and maybe I'm going to start getting, because I don't know if I always want to just be in front of the camera when I'm telling my story, because there's just a lot. I don't know, maybe I will. We'll see. Or if I can just learn how to split up the audio and do it on both, and then just, get more or whatever of my footage. Anyways, how are we getting, you must have a lot of... Oh, you must have a lot of water placements. I start talking about my life when I'm around like Scorpio, Cancer, or Pisces. So there's some watery moon because I'm just like, so, but I think there's also a lot of messages in there. Also, I felt the need, I guess for the demonstration, but to pull this card, one of these cards first. Also all of your clairs, let's just get through this really quickly. All of your clairs might be coming online. Including, some telepathy. I think a lot of people just like think that's crazy, but people are like, oh, but when you think of somebody and then they call you, like, it's telepathy. Like, there's like no other like explanation for it. Like, you're connected, you're talking and thinking about somebody and they feel a tinge and then they get that's telepathy. So it's when you just realize like that's what it is, it's like picking up the tin can and like stop talking into it and it goes down a string and it goes to the other person. Like, you can strengthen that, you can practice that and everything like that. But I feel like sometimes it's difficult it took a very long time until I finally had somebody who was like, no, it's real. Listen to my thoughts. Now talk them back to me. Right? Also, I think you're also getting a lot of song, like you just might be musically inclined, but who isn't these days? I mean, like we have so much, music. I have a hard time with people. I don't listen to music. I've actually like met those people. I'm like, really? Like not even class? I mean, there's nothing out there. Just like, it just doesn't speak to me. I'm like, we can't be friends. So like, I think that's like probably one of the few things where I'm like, yeah, no, I don't think I can hang out with you. Just like from a standpoint, like, like I can't think of that word that I'm trying to look for, but like, I think you get a lot of song. There's a lot of things that come up like when certain songs are playing or in just certain moments. Like sometimes it works with a lot of people. They do the shuffling thing, whatever. Maybe that's something I'll pick up. I know I did. They talk to me in the grocery store all the time, I will be in the thrift store and there's some chick that's like following me trying to get my picks and like get ahead of me, whatever, and like Sting will come on saying don't stand so close to me, and then I crack up looking like a crazy person, which actually helps because then they run away. Not really. These girls are really aggressive in this particular thrift store, but anyways, I digress. Also feel like you're getting lots of electricity. Also, that's because I did see your cards in this pile because I was going through and just picking up messages, and there's so much electricity. I feel like you're really getting downloads, and maybe you don't know what to do with them. Also, they might feel like it's about to. I just want you to know if you are getting packets of information, like especially about your future or like possible timelines. Like that's what I get like 4 or 5 possible timelines. If I'm going to make this decision, like I can see kind of like, I kind of get a bird's eye view of like what's coming down and like where there's free will. Other people have free will, but I can see what's going to happen with me sometimes. And sometimes it's not clear and it's not shown to me. But it's one of my particular gifts that I have. And so I feel like you have this, you can think around corners, and maybe you didn't know that you had that, but I feel like it's just coming on more. I feel like also you might be pushing it. You might be like, again, I feel like you're getting like a researcher and you're really looking down there. But like, yeah, so I'm feeling like a lot of electricity, a lot of like, just like I said, information. Oh, that's what I was going to say, is timing. So you might get information. You're just like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be famous tomorrow. That might be 10 years out, right? Or it could be, you could go viral tomorrow, right? So time is not like really linear. I don't know how to explain it, because like I just don't know how to explain timeline, because I thought I was a crazy person when I heard people talking about portals and timelines, and now I understand it. So it's like when the timelines are just like basically you're on a train track, and the train tracks are you're going the same way, and then they split off, right? That happens where one needs to go this way, and there's like this train, and it's like one person makes this one decision, this one, and then the train's going this way, right? And then you're down that path maybe for 10 years, depending on like if you start dating the wrong person or something like that. You know what I mean? And you get yourself, and they do one crappy thing to you, and but it happens 10 years later, you're like running like you're in a shelter with your baby in your arms because he's been beating you, right? I only talk about that because I've been there, okay? I don't talk about the things that I don't know about. So I just want you to know that there's a lot of stuff that's going to be coming up, and you're getting, so this electricity, this means like epiphanies. This is like tower after tower after tower. It doesn't mean that there's a stripping going on of your life, although there might physically being a stripping. If you're going through an awakening and the universe wants to push you through some karma, you might have some people like you never thought would leave your life, are like being torn away from your life because they can't go with you on this journey, or else they're going to keep you down, right? But it might be like really, really sudden, because I'm just getting this, I get this huge eclipse energy, and I don't know what is like do I know the trigger? I know astrologically it was going to be a big deal, but I think it's just, Saturn is like full, like it's about to start, it's going to be one more month, and then the retrograde will be over. So like Saturn is in full, like, got you in its hands. If something's been going on, you either did something right or you did something wrong, but something has happened, right, in the past 30 days that has rocked your world. And if it hasn't, this is also premonition, right? There's a lot of us workers, I always forget that too. Us light workers will go through things before the collective. Like, you'll see a bunch of the psychics, like this past week, we were all just like, whoa, right? Slogging through energy, because Mercury backspins and hits us so much sooner than the rest of the collective. I don't know why that is. I just know it's just because so we can feel it, so we can process it and transmute it and talk about like why we went through these things, because a lot of these things people don't realize is like, as soon as I get into a reading, and not only am I picking up from information, but I'm realizing how it's like there's so many storylines of people that I know in my life, and it's like these different stories that are chopped up into one and kind of put it in pieces for these different, because one person's going through this and this one's going through that, so the whole thing may not resonate, but if you get 50% of a reading to resonate, you're like, that sounds right. The other part was for the other people. There's thousands of people that are watching a pile. So I think sometimes people have a really hard time. They're like, but the whole thing wasn't me, or, I'm not a Libra, or, a Capricorn or whatever. And it's like, it has nothing to do. It's a way to get you into like how would you watch tarot if you didn't have a label to put? That's why, a lot of people really resonate with pick a cards, because it's more about the energy you're in. I love working with elements and animals. That feels more tangible to me than working with archetypes. Or, I work with particular angels and maybe some deities, but other than that, and other people, that's their jam, that's their deal, that's what they love to do. So there's so much room in here to just pick and choose what you choose to believe. But if you choose not to believe anything, if you want to just stay where you're at, like in your spirituality and what you believe, that's perfectly fine. But if you have natural psychic gifts, there is nothing wrong with exploring how you can. So if you're a grown adult and you can come to these things and like filter out like the things that you resonate with and the ones that you don't, and not get angry or triggered that other people have different beliefs than you, and that we can all share this information from different walks of life to get different perspectives without trying to force anything down. It's just, this is an exchange of knowledge. I want you to understand the power that you have in your hands, and the people that are around you that are trying to make you not see who you are. Okay? Because really, like, people, I didn't want to go down the whole, like, jealousy route or intimidation route. But what I realized is, like, how I've been able to move forward in my life is because I got those messages from the readers that told me and warned me about the people that were around me, and I could see them coming from a mile away, right? So that's what I want to provide for you, because that's what I do for myself. Okay, are we done with this? Also, yes, the downloads. Also, I feel like you're realizing that you've been, Alice. Oh, I wanted to bring this up again. Alice over at Alice Love Exists Visions. Amazing. Put all that. Alice Love Exists, I think, Visions. Anyways, I always butcher her name. But she has this saying, the universe is my sugar daddy. And that's just really kind of rolling into, I feel like you're realizing or understanding a little bit about a scarcity mindset. And that when you live in, like, I wish I had this and I want this, or whatever you're actually putting out. I feel like you're starting to learn and tap in a little bit to the law of actual attraction, right? We don't chase, we attract. And I feel like you're realizing that there's some, like, really significant things that you can change very quickly and very easily to change your mindset. And you just didn't know, right? We don't know until, like, somebody says it and you're just like, oh, maybe, yeah. I did grow up with parents that were like, money doesn't grow on trees and it's always going to be a slog, and, like, you don't deserve this, that, and nobody does if they, you know what I mean? And, like, being angry at rich people and, like, all these things that we're just, these people, coming from, I come from, 2 immigrant families that, like, come from, like, really, like, third world countries that are just, like, been in abject freaking poverty, like, our entire generation, like, and I'm the first one that's just like, you know what, like, I can not work for the man. I don't have to marry for money. I don't have to marry someone I don't love to try and get their skin a different color in order for my family to, like, not, you know what I mean? Like, all of these crazy things that, survival, right? So we have to forgive them. We have to understand where they're coming from, and then we can use that as knowledge for ourselves, and then take our own route based on our own beliefs and the beliefs that we decide to hold and uphold for ourselves. We can create our own morals, right? And our own playbook of what we choose and choose not to resonate from many different walks of life. There's nothing wrong with just creating your own world and then having your own credence, right? Your own mission statement would say, what do you believe? And you're like, I know exactly what I believe. This is how I feel on this issue, and this is how I feel on this issue. And I got to this, not that you have to explain yourself, but knowing why you have, not just because you heard it on the news, or you're the best buddy who listens to the guy on the radio is on it, and all of a sudden you're just picking up and parroting things because you want to hang out with these people and wear camouflage, and that's what they believe. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, like, I'm not trying to pick on anybody. I've been in all of these situations, right? Not just it's just a whole... I was like that, right? And I'm a Gemini, so I absorb, people. I start talking like them. I start believing things like them, like, because I'm just like, yeah, because I'm so interested in other people's. But then I start, like, internalizing that stuff and then acting and making decisions based on some of these things where it's just like I was just around the people and I heard it all the time, and I took it on as my own, including their, being in their auras. When you get within 16 feet of a person, all of a sudden you're in their territory, right? Or they're in yours. Are you the alpha energetically? It doesn't matter if you're the alpha when it comes to whatever. I'm talking about natural born alphas energetically. And if you're not, if you're beta and you're getting triggered already, get on out of here. Because I can feel when you have a little pinprick or whatever, like, I know I'm triggering. I have 42 years. Yes, I'm very triggering. That's why I don't have a lot of friends, and it's probably why you're no longer my friend, right? Because I trigger the hell out of you. And then you just become douchey. And then I know it. And then I have to back away slowly because I can't have you in my energy, because I only want to be around people that want the best for me. And if I won the lottery and you got, like, angry and pissy about it tomorrow, like, you can't be in my life. Sorry. Like, this is how you have to be. Like, it's just like, it's like it's a non. Will they be happy for you if you were to win the lottery tomorrow? You can go through your friends list. It's very, very cathartic. So, anywho's, that being said, I feel y'all. Scarcity mindset. You're getting out of a scarcity mindset. 17 minutes in, we're just going to keep going. I blew through that pile a little more. This is the last pile, and obviously, this is what was needed. Oh, yeah. Very excited. I think this is like, I'm like, this is the gas. Woo, woo. I can feel it now, right? Make plans and focus, shield maiden. I don't care what's hanging in the garage, okay? We're parked in the garage, right? Shield maiden, focus, but be in your feminine, be fierce, right? But stand in your feminine. Why? Because the feminine attracts, right? The masculine, but it's like, but be ready with your masculine. If somebody comes at you, you're like, oh yeah, you're going to see my sword. You see my sword now, right? But if not, you're going to see my handkerchief until you piss me off, or you mess with somebody I love, or you mess with my money, or you mess with my energy, or you try and suck my energy, or you try, right? All right, let's get into this. Butterfly, yeah, awakening. I think that's what I saw in here. All right, let me get some tea. It's been very, very good. Do we have anybody coming up that walk? No, we don't. Okay. Yeah, hyper-vigilant. I'm like, let's jump in. Pile 3. Hyper-vigilant, hyper-aware, knows what's going on, very fertile, has just a very, very agile mind, right? Can just feel like the slightest, like those whiskers, right? Like the ears, everything just like, yeah. You are very, I feel like this light is really, really bright in my eyes right now. Pardon me. I'm just going to take it down as the evening goes down. So does my tolerance for lights, especially fluorescent ones. Okay, much better. So we have rabbit spirit, okay? And so talking about rabbit, I feel like you're very fertile. I feel like people can't catch up with you. I feel like you're the feelers, right? Like again, that like you can feel a tremor in the ground or a little whatever in the wind, right? Like the ear, like, whoa, what was that? And you don't let things catch up with you. You rather like get ahead of it and like look and survey the area, right? You just, yeah, you don't get comfortable. You don't get comfortable immediately. I love this. The first house, yeah, immediately. The way you project yourself, doing it on your own. Yeah, you just have this very independent spirit, but I also feel like, again, I'm just getting this jackrabbit, like, people can't keep up with you. I don't know if you're necessarily moving in silence. I think, like, it's more like you're not asking anybody's permission to pivot or go in whatever direction. So people may feel like it's more secretive or something like that, but really I feel like it's like you're like, I'm efficient and it's none of your business. Right? If you know where you're going and what you're doing, like even if you don't know what you're doing but you know that the direction that you're going to, like when people start getting like really, that's when you really like identify the narcissist in your life, when you just like stop asking them for their opinion. They're just like, right? Because then they can't influence you anymore. Yeah, you're the bright mother. Look at you. I love this so much. Look at you. Back turn and handling your business. There's a sickle, like with this moon, it's your intuition. Yeah, you've got eyes behind your back, right? These dimples are like her eyes right there. She was like, I know what's going on behind me. I can see there's like this, I don't know if you can tell. It's like this body, like you're getting dreams about people. You're getting intuition, you're getting whispers. Something's going on where you're starting to get information about people with this moon on top of this, whatever. You've got this crystal ball, there's this cherub here. Like you might have, like maybe you have some, like I have, I have my sparrows that I lost, and I know that they're around me all the time, right? So you might have like some spirit babies, or I just feel like you're I feel like maybe I'm talking, there's so many, yeah, you're surrounded by so many, yeah, we've got grandmothers and some sex, yeah, you are surrounded, you are highly protected, your ancestors. There's one guy back here that's like, don't mess with her, highly protected. There's another one that I feel like you have another like maybe an uncle that like messes with people, because this is like very pixie with the ears, whatever, but it's very mischievous, but it looks like I'll slash your tires, like I definitely feel like there's this like an older brother or uncle or something like that that's around you, like passed away very young. I feel like, yeah, this might be a child, this might be your son, or like I'm getting kind of like a teenage son here. Maybe just, too soon, of course, but yeah, also I got this another one. I feel like this is an aunt or something. She's got this heaving, like these huge Dolly Parton tatas, And she's just like, yeah, I just feel like there's this like very like I feel like not a burlesque dancer, but like back in like the Western days or something. Like I feel like, you know, she might have been like a courtesan or like just full on like lady of the streets, but like just uber sexual. Like may have gotten like her boobs, you know what I mean? Like maybe like drove a truck, just something. I feel like they're like ran a bar, or I just feel like there's someone who's just very into their body. Like might have been a dancer, just the black sheep, like always wearing mini skirts till they're like 70 years old or something. Yeah, I'm just getting like this firecracker redhead granny. Oh, I don't know, I said redhead granny that just like wore a ton of makeup, like maybe smoked a lot, like just really like just people were like so inappropriate. And she's just like, and she's like, yeah, dude, she's like, indulge in yourself, do your own thing, heave for yourself. Oh, that's so naughty. Oh, I can feel it. She's like, yeah, and there's this, like, she's got this guy, this bull's like wild-eyed. Yeah, ooh, okay. I feel like this particular, I think that there's an energy, a female energy around you that's really helping you like step into your sexy. Like you might have just been feeling like a lot more like, because I know I was primping and like I was like hot and I was just like, but then I decided like it's not even a Libra placement. I feel like you're just really starting to pay attention to like how you present and what makes you like feel good. And like it's like, yeah, I may be wearing this whatever, but I feel like it. I feel like you're really starting to get into your body here and starting like, yeah, these sensitivities are popping off and you're just like, oh, I really like this feels really good, or that doesn't feel as good as I thought it did, you know. And here's the thing is like when we drop a lot of, people don't realize when you start releasing baggage and releasing things that people have done for you, or like trauma or whatever, and your body releases it, and all of a sudden you realize like I realize I have like a long hair fetish, and I love women with long hair, and I love having long hair, so I bought this gorgeous hair piece that gives me long hair, and I just turn into a different person with it. I love the nails, like I love, like maybe you're just really starting to embrace like your alter egos. There's also a book, I should put that, let me write that down, alter ego book. I will link that in the description. I will also be making an episode on it. It might be our first book for the book club for the other channel. I'll let you know about that, or yeah, we're just gonna make that the first book. And we'll talk about that, because I might just have to go through it again. But like, yeah, because I've got someone in mind, and he's like, can you give me the cliff notes? And I'm like, do I really want to do it? But if I can do that at the same time as, yeah, anyways, they're like, keep going, the village. Honestly, I feel like this is, you have no problems like burning it down and going off on your own. It's so strange because you're like, oh, it takes a village, whatever. But I feel like there's just so many people. Yeah, I think, you know, that's what happens with a spiritual awakening, is like all of a sudden you just realize that if you didn't take the tower down, or the universe, and you can take the tower down yourself and you get signs of that. But if you don't, you know, the universe will do it. It'll just be more dramatic and a lot more damage control is going to be needed, right? But I feel like there's this you're just like, I feel like, because this reminds me of the 8 of Cups in this particular deck that talks, like this looks like the upside down of it. Like there's something that you just torch something in like this whole history, whatever, just for like 1 cup of like love or like nourishment, right? You're like, I'll take this 1 bowl of just 1 drop of nourishment is better than this entire castle that I had back here. Right now you're resting and you're healing, but I feel like I could just get as happy as a clam, but as happy as a lamb. Like this lamb is just like, it's like brand new. I feel like I remember the first time that I released, like my depression left me. I was driving down the road and something, like I was able to like process something with my mother and my family and everything, and it was like everything that like it actually, like I felt like, and then people say the word lighter, but I literally felt like I had helium in my lungs and I was just floating, and I felt like I'd been somebody had been trying to drown me in my entire life. I was like, what is this? Like, how could that have just lifted? How that's been on me this entire time? Like, this is something that I could have just done with my thinking in my mind. I got so angry, right? Because this self-help crap or whatever didn't tell me that there was like an actual like feeling. There's things that you can do. That's what this other channel is going to be about, that you can do every day to hone this craft, right? To feel like this all the time, to feel that you're so protected that you can just lay there, right, with all of this protection from your ancestors, and these swords that people are trying to throw down you are like just hovering around you like the Matrix bullet. Right? You can, in your third eye, you're starting to realize, wait a minute, you might be practicing theta and getting into theta state, because when you get into theta and you start realizing like you can just drop down into that, and it's like it's like putting a magneto helmet on yourself, right? I think you're really starting to like learn what true peace is and how to create that for yourself. It's really beautiful. Yeah, with this rainbow over here, and like leaving this all down here at the bottom, it's like finally coming up. Like, look at this imagery. We've got 4 swords here and 6 swords here. That's 2 swords. I feel like you've really kind of been on this cusp, like indecision, like never being able to move forward. But now it's like you're getting rest. You're feeling rested. You're feeling protected. You're feeling nurtured. You're feeling loved. And then you're just feeling like you're just rising up from this, right? And there's still a lot that you've got to move through. It's not completely clear, but you've got this rainbow here. Like, it's just like you're really being able to like see that rainbow over like the horizon. Right? And here we have Buffalo Spirit. But we've got Buffalo Spirit. The abundant universe will provide. And this is all about the scarcity mindset and realizing that you can be taken care of and that your needs can be met, not only through the universe if you stay in that nice high vibration, but also like just being really aware of your environment and like how you're affecting it, but how other people are affecting it as well, right? And then here again, this is another manifestation, because the Buffalo card in my Kim Kranz deck is like getting all this lightning, and I'm talking about there's all this electricity, but this is ideas, this is manifestation, this is you thinking about something and thinking about it enough where you're thinking about all the different ins and outs and the decisions that you can make and where it can lead. That's actual manifestation, because if you picture it in your mind, you're putting that into the vortex, and then you start making decisions out of that space and then making it true, right? Like in your own reality, that's manifestation. And I feel like there's something happening here that's really showing you like it's true. Like you're like, what the, like you might be starting to think about something, and you'll like a food, and it all of a sudden it'll pop up like on the grocery store, like at the front where somebody like left it or whatever. The stuff gets really crazy. I'm not gonna lie, like the magic is real. They had to show it to me for 2 years in a row for me to believe it. But here, it's like transformation is beautiful. You are this monarch butterfly. You are getting all of it. Yeah, a lot of air, but I mean, I just feel like it's this. You went through the cocoon. You've already been through the whole crystallization process and everything like that. Like, you are unfurling your actual butterfly wings here. Okay. Sorry, I felt like somebody was walking up. So here we have the Fool. Yeah, it's a brand new cycle, right? This is an energetic Fool, right? This is my like brand new, like spanking, like it's you've gone through an ascension, okay? And an ascension, like I said, is just kind of like the next stage on a Zelda game. It's like you went through and you like vibrated high enough to like leave these like karmics behind. Maybe you cut off some relationships that like maybe were just kind of hanging around. It was like keeping the back door open, you know what I mean, type of thing, or something along those lines, where it's just like always, or like keeping people's things, like there are things I learned I had to like throw away. No more keeping boyfriend's t-shirts and stuff like that, ladies and gentlemen, and stuff like that keeps them energetically tied to you, right? So I feel like you just feel like completely, yeah, I just feel like, yeah, I think you're feeling it. I think you're actually feeling like a brand new, like a lamb, right? Like brand new pink skin, woo, woo, unsullied. So we have the Four of Water, and here it's like you're really examining like what's going on. I feel like it's very sombering too. Like, look at her, she's not happy. And the Four of Cups is always like there's something, like there's a cup that you're not seeing, that she's looking at this cup saying, I thought this is what I wanted. And I don't think it's like there's all of these like different ideas coming up from the surface, and I put all my attention on this, and I thought this was it, and I don't know if this is what I want, right? It's like this very like, oh my gosh, have I been, right, this whole time just like denying myself, right? This earth, like I get this earth like feeling really, really stuck, feeling like, like maybe this is just what it's going to be, this is how life is just going to come out, right? Feeling like really, really stuck, feeling like there wasn't, like I just feel like you're like buried alive. I felt like you were buried alive, like by emotions or like feeling like there's just like, I feel like you have like this really internal world that nobody really knows about here. So here next up we have the freedom card. And I feel like, you know, first of all, I feel like you've always been this person, that you've always had this freedom, that you've always had this like spirit that just kind of buzzed around and like loved on everybody and like was really, really happy. And I feel like you're starting to tap into this again. I really feel like you're starting to like really know, like, wow, this is the real deal. Like I'm feeling right back into my skin and where I'm supposed to be, right? You're realizing your multidimensionality. You're remembering that, oh, I used to do this and I used to do that and I used to be really good at this and I didn't even think that like maybe I could monetize that in some way. I could start a YouTube channel and like use something that I did way back in the day and like, you know, have an alternate method of income stream while having a really good time and like tapping into something that I really enjoyed and really just caused me, or not caused me, but it says caused me a lot of heartache and sorrow. Okay, so also feeling like this might be a person that like you used to be really good at something and you just, I remember that with photography. I shot, you know, professionally for 10 years and I was like, I never want to see a camera again, and I didn't pick one up. I still kind of haven't. I mean, I've got my videography now, right? But I haven't had a professional DSLR in like 4 years. And now I'm finally starting to get the itch for it. So I feel like there's something that you picked up or put down a long time ago just because there was a lot of stuff attached to it that you're about to let go, or already have or that you, about to let go. Oh, that's really interesting. There's like these two, like there's something like you're really attached to and you're about to let go, and then there's something that you let go that you're attached to. So to flip-flop, and it might be, you know, might be changing like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm starting to get some like, I don't want to, oh, my nose is itching now. Like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. But ultimately, I'm like, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. And we have the union here. I feel like this is union with yourself. Like this 44, this match. I've been getting 4s because for the 3 is like, the 3, we've got like like a three-legged tripod or whatever, you know what I mean? It's not like putting something on a stool. Like you wouldn't want to put a television on a stool that only has 3 legs. You'd feel like you'd be a little bit better if it was on 4, right? And I feel like you're starting to like really just connect with that foundation. Like there's these different things in your life that you're realizing, again, that you can like put together and marry together to make something stronger, right? Maybe you're really starting to like take different ideas and put them together into something that you just like a life, or you know, this might be wanting to completely like go off grid and, you know, do van life or something like that. I don't know, there's a lot going on here, but that was an amazing, I'm getting all the noise from the universe. It's time to shut this down. But it's also put your foot on the gas. Okay, so thank you, pile 3, so much. I love y'all very much, and we'll see you next time.